Good afternoon. I'm Monisa Klein here at the GBTA broadcast studio. We're rolling live here in beautiful Boston, and we're here for our third annual Media Day. And last but certainly not least is a good friend of mine, Tim Daniel of International SOS. Great to see you, Tim.
Nice to see you.
Welcome to Boston,
Thank
and
you.
thanks for spending a few minutes with me to talk about International SOS and telling us what's new and exciting.
Great. Well, I'm glad to be here. And super convention it looks like this year. So we're really delighted to be introducing a new service called Incident Support. And it really gets back to that kind of concept of the golden hour, as they refer to it in medicine. And we've taken that concept and applied it to travel risk. So we really think that first hour when something's happening that could be putting travelers at risk it's critical that organizations have the resources to manage that. So incident support not only addresses what the travelers need to know, but also what the managers who are responsible need to know as well.
So how is that going to impact the industry? How would you say that would be,
Well,
what the impact is?
Good question. I think a lot of what we've done so far has been sort of rudimentary. It's saying, okay, something might have happened, who might be affected? And we're trying to take that to the next level with incident support and say not only what might have happened, but what actually happened, what travelers need to do right now. For example, should they shelter in place? Give them that information in the first few minutes, or certainly within the first half an hour when it's very critical that they get that information. And then also be able to feed back to managers, maybe not in the first few minutes, but within the first hour to say, here's who's been affected, here's who we've been able to contact, here's who might need help, potentially even offer that help when they reach back out to us.
That's great. You know, safety and security or duty of care is always number one priority, right? For all of our audiences, whether you're a buyer, you're a supplier, anybody in this travel industry, it's just paramount and number one. What do you see as the most critical issues affecting the business travel industry?
Well, I think it's really balancing what I call the big headline risks, which are the things that incident support does very well in taking care of, earthquakes, terror attacks, things like that, but also recognizing that there's a huge impact on travelers day to day that are what I call the crisis of one. So you sprain your ankle, you forget your medication, you have your cell phone stolen, you lose your passport. And I think as travel managers, we're much more likely to encounter those kinds of problems, but maybe we aren't necessarily equipping our travelers with the tools to respond to those individual events, as well as the big things that we have to deal with.
Yeah. So in your space, what's the biggest issue that you face? What's keeping you up at night?
I think what we see travel managers really worrying about is their ability, I think, to form the relationships within their organizations with the security department, the HR department. It's because the best programs, the ones that really deliver to travelers, are a team effort. And while we definitely worry about the threats of the world, I think we're just as equally worried about what organizations do to sort of prepare and how they organize for those threats.
Yeah, I know. I think the study that's being released, I understand that most of the people that were surveyed say that they'll call their supervisor before they'll call the travel manager, right, on where they are.
Well, they'll
right?
check in on Facebook first. Then they'll call their the family, then they'll call their supervisor.
That's the world that we live in, right?
But I think it's understanding how travelers react and giving them the right tools.
Yeah. Well, the theme of the convention is convergence,
right,
which I think is just such a perfect theme. Any closing remarks or advice that you have for our audience, Tim?
I think it's to just keep upping the game. I think what we have said was good travel risk a year ago is not what it is today, and certainly won't be what we need in a year from now.
That's great. Tim, thanks so much for being here with me.
Great to see you again.
Great to see you again, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you over the next couple of days.
Thanks
Thanks
Vanessa.
again. So this is our final wrap for Media Day. It's been my pleasure to work with a great GBTA team, and I think it was really interesting to the fact that we had several companies that were here for the first time. So there's new technology, new companies, new players that are breaking into this space. And again, that theme of convergence is so appropriate. I know we're going to have close to 7,000 attendees at the convention this year. I understand there's a new record, over 400 exhibitors, and 90 of those are first-timers. So again, everybody will be here converging in Boston for another great convention. That's a wrap, and I'm Monisa Klein with GBTA Broadcast Studio. Thank you.